Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna get a better camera angle there. I am so sorry there. There we go. That should do us. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Check Yeah. Today is kind of a monumental day in a way. I finally get to touch like super ultra premium hardware. It's kind of a surreal feeling in a way, because normally somebody that's been through things like I have in my life would never be in the same room as some of this stuff unless they really saved up pretty hard for it. It's not to say I haven't met, people that made a couple of smart moves and had some pretty good hardware, but still, man, I'm just so stoked. Hold on, I'm gonna get it out. Wait a second. There it is. The light, I know is not going to be the best for everybody. I'm going to try to make this as best I can. Here it is. So right here we have the Core i9. This is the KF variant. So obviously we will be relying on a GPU. But I don't care what variant it is, man. It's 24 cores, 32 threads. It's just a monster of computing power. So I am super, super, super stoked to be putting in. So this computer here is the machine we are upgrading. This is our victim today. I went to pick it up off the floor where it was at the workstation there. Yeah, this cover, which I guess is supposed to click in there. I don't know. I think this is an iBuyPower unit. It might be made to do that, but still at the same time, when you go to pick up at the corner and then the other corner and then the thing blips up at you there, it kind of stinks. So I'm going to flip back over here to the other camera angle real quick so I can kind of show you guys the workstation here. Alright, so move it up here a little closer. I'm going to need to get my film light too. Yep, that is a real dark shot. Hold on, y'all. There we go. Tilt you up here just a wee bit. And there we go. So with the cover on, I know you guys can't really see inside of it. That's kind of by design. It has this tinted window dealio on here. Now the one cool thing, I think what is going to happen out of this case is we're going to build a reverse sleeper in here. So stay tuned for that. I like to do builds on live stream like this and record them. Sometimes it's hard for me to like act and do a script in front of the camera. So I've just found for right now, especially at this point in my career, it's a lot easier for me to do these live streams and then come back after the fact and edit them. So can please somebody type in chat if I lose audio or anything at any point. That's very important to me that I stay audible throughout this stream. I have a backup transmitter just in case. So my first comment or in the chat, what do we got? Oh yeah. Yeah, you might know who this build is for. I'm just super stoked, man, to be putting it together. Honestly, you're gonna catch me over at your desk just looking over your shoulder ever so slightly at moments, because I'm gonna be checking it out. It's gonna be my little baby for a few days at least. All right. One of the first things we have to get going here is obviously we got to get the parts out of here. But especially the nature of this build, one of the things that I've kind of been making it a point as I've been kind of building this up in my head is that a lot of channels and a lot of places all over YouTube, there's a lot of focus on new machines, new builds, And while that's really cool, and it has its place, I mean, everybody likes a new computer, don't get it wrong, but you can save yourself a ton of cash by just upgrading the essentials. Now this one's going to be kind of particular. It's probably going to run too far for me to live stream fully, but at least we'll get the build down. I'll have a pretty good idea of how it's going to work next 20-30 minutes, just because my intention is to set it up on the table first and get it powered on. But before I can do that, I need a power supply that I can use, so we're going to have to take that out of here. So that's going to be the first step of this: getting the graphics card, getting the network card, getting the power supply. And what else do we have in here that's important that needs to come to the next build? Hard drives and RAM. So we are going Z690 on this board. We know that we could probably get just a little bit more performance out of going DDR5 and going Z790. But this machine isn't, it's not for FPS frames for you to chat with your buddies on Fortnite. This is a machine that's doing real work in the real world. So we need real world performance, and this is the best way to get it, other than trying to trace down a bunch of second gen Zen Plus weirdness going on with this 2700X CPU. AMD, we love you, but in the professional world, it's like, I don't know, man. The server market too, they're finding out, because these EPYC processors, they're great. We love them. They have so many cores, but it's going to take some time before the software is really there, and that's just because Intel's had such a stranglehold on it for so long. So let me get my tools, we'll get started. I don't know why I bothered moving the computer over here, but I know why. It's because I have to lay it down, and the darn top wants to pop off of it. All right. I like that it still has the Fragile sticker on there. At some point, I'm going to try and get this. I'm going to move cameras and stuff around a bunch, you guys. I am recording this as well. I will cut it down, hopefully. I say that, but just sometimes it's difficult. Okay, so this build's pretty straightforward, I think. It's going to be really easy to get into. One screw does the deal, it looks like, but yep, okay. Woo! Yeah, it should only go like a quarter turn and then it pops out. Yeah. This is a very odd case. All right. I definitely was not expecting the top to pop off still. I'm probably going to talk about that the whole stream, and that's because I almost dropped it when I went to get it. I unhooked all the stuff out. I'm trying to be doubly extra careful with this stuff. You know, all jokes aside, you know, if we put like a monetary dollar value on this machine, it's probably close to $2,000, even with using the older graphics card. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? The CPU's like $499, $599. I can't remember how much the KF is off the top of my head. I know the KS is out, and it's like $650 or something like that. So I'll correct myself in the long cut as later. Okie dokie. GTX 1080. It's the For the Win edition too. I had this card. So You want to know a funny story about the card that I got? That was this same card, actually. So somebody returned one of these right after they had first gotten released, and it was like the first graphics card that was like, it was like $6.99 retail or something when it first came out. It was like $700. You know, that's a big pill to swallow back when we were used to paying, you know, even for a high-end graphics card, a couple $100. And somebody had returned one. They bought one and they returned it, and somebody's bright idea was to put it in an old ATI Radeon. It was like a Radeon 5450 or some junk card or something. I just remember I was looking for like a budget card at the moment, and I remember taking it off the shelf, and it was real heavy, and I'm like, what is going on here with this? And I opened it up, and I couldn't see what it was. There was too much plastic wrapped around it to see that it was a 1080 for the win. And I got it home and I took it out and I realized what I had. I called the Micro Center, and nobody could seem to figure out where this card came from. So, I mean, of course, they gave me the option to bring it back, but they said they really didn't care either way. So, I mean, in that situation, it kind of sucks to say. I mean, I kept it. It ultimately got sold down the road, but still, though, I think I paid like $150 for it or something because it was in the clearance rack in the wrong box, that was a deal. I made out like a fat rat on that deal for sure. Alright, I think we're going to use this as like a makeshift parts tray, this little camera box here. Yeah, that's going to work just fine. I should have got my keypad out, you guys, so I can switch views better. So, even though this machine has a wee bit of dust, it's still super duper clean. This is how you can tell when a machine has been set up properly for the airflow. You want slightly positive pressure in the case. I'm going to try to get you guys in here a little better. Sorry for the jerkiness, I promise it's only temporary. Oh, that's as close as I can get you here. So, well, it's really not coming across on camera, but super clean. You know, usually the first thing I have to do in most cases is go to town with a can of spray duster, normally on a build. This one especially, we're going into a new case. That motherboard and everything there looked okay. So that's like one of the things I would normally stress. I would have already had this pulled and the front panel pulled off, had it blown out. But honestly, I just don't see, there's not even like buildup on the radiator for real. So I'm just gonna kind of start getting components out of here. That's the best thing to do. Now the new board, I do believe also has 4 RAM slots. So, but yeah, this is textbook upgrading. So the biggest point of animosity in this build is going to be booting Windows. The last time I went from AMD. I went from a 2nd gen 2600 to an Intel 9th gen. It was a 9700K, and yeah, it used to be you couldn't do that. You know, even if you really wanted to, and there's still some cases where it can force you to have to reinstall, which is a pain in the butt. But I've not really had it happen to me in the last few years, so it's pretty good about catching itself and running with at least basic enough drivers to boot and get you into Windows. A fresh install is usually best. That's not always practical, right? You know what I mean? We have our computers and we do this work on them, and you know, we get them set up the way that we like them, only to turn around in a couple years and do it all over again. And in IT, there's always been this like huge, the thought process anyways has always been like, you'll upgrade and you'll have your data and all this stuff, and it's just like all the things they thought computing was supposed to be, or the directions that it was supposed to go in. It just doesn't seem like, it seems like we've kind of lost some of them core values. You know, everybody's got their hand out for a subscription fee, and it's just nuts anymore. You know what I mean? I try to think of all the collections of software, even things like emulators that I'm starting to get into a little bit now with testing some of the mini PCs and stuff that I've done here on the channel. And even that I've noticed, like trying to track down some of the software for these old consoles, especially Nintendo, man. Nintendo has maybe a little bit more than some of the other companies. Nintendo has been making it a point to re-release a lot of their old video games. And the problem with that is that they're pretty much punishing all the people that like to run retro emulators and stuff. So just about every ROM site that I can think of that I tried last week after I did the test and when I did the live stream from my living room over the weekend. And you know, before, obviously I don't want to try to stream any Nintendo content, because that's a really good way to get channel striked, which kind of sucks, because there's like whole YouTube channels that base themselves around, you know, retro emulation and hardware and stuff. And it really sucks when you have these games that have been out for 30, 40, even 50 years in some cases, some of this Atari stuff. And it's just like, well enough, we can't ever leave well enough alone, you know. There's already been how many millions and billions of dollars extrapolated out of this nonsense, and here we are forking over more money for it again. Just a different iteration, right? Because that's what Nintendo wants. They want you to pay for it again. They don't care that you had Super Mario 3 20 years ago for your NES. They want you to pay for it again on your Nintendo Switch. And I'm sorry, but that's BS. Why do that when I have this machine in front of me that's capable of playing any of those games, because they were made in the 1980s, let's face it, you know, like, and it's ridiculous. I think we've already paid our price for that IP, you know what I mean? Make new Mario games, quit remaking these old Mario games, and like we're supposed to be happy about forking that $29.99 over to you or something. All right, we got a Corsair H60 or H80i on here. Not a bad little cooler, but definitely our thermal load is increasing quite substantially. We're going from 8 kings. We're going from 8 kings, from 8 cores and 16 threads to 24 cores and 32 threads. So like double on the threads, almost double on the cores. So this little guy, might return in the reverse sleeper build. How wild would it be to see an old school Pentium 2, a slotted Pentium 2, mind you. So it's not like a square CPU like we're used to today and an LGA connector. So like literally a slotted CPU with this on, it'd be so cool, man. It's so ridiculous. I wouldn't need to do it, but it would just be funny. I have this idea in my head, you guys, to do a reverse sleeper build. Now, you may be asking yourself, if you're not familiar with what a sleeper build is, what is a sleeper build? And it's basically, so if you've ever seen anybody on YouTube where they take like a really old computer case from like the 1990s and they put brand new hardware from this era in it, so like a 4090 G, like what we're doing, they would be putting these parts that we're doing right now inside of like an old beige square case, you know. And I want to do the reverse of that, right? I want to take a case like this that has all the lights and fans and ridiculous stuff on it, and I want to take that and I want to put an old Pentium 2 CPU and motherboard, because I have one and it's ATX. It's the ATX standard, so it'll drop right into a new case. Because the ATX standard, which is what this case is, and many other cases that are around, are either ATX, micro ATX, ITX, or some version of the TX standard. And the cool thing about that Pentium 2 board is that's what it is. So I could literally just drop it right in here, and everything will fit and go in. So I've really been thinking about how to best do a reverse sleeper build, because I saw a video on Linus Tech Tapes. Man, I can't talk today. So Linus Tech Tips today, they put out a video where they were showing people how to run Windows 98 on their modern computer in emulation, so you can emulate all those good old Windows 98 and 95 era games, because there's a lot of them. And but like they make a point of in that video, the best way to play that stuff is on original hardware. And lo and behold, I have just that. So we'll see. I wonder what the reaction will be. You know, I have this light up, all these fans, completely unnecessary for a Pentium 2, and then have it sit somebody down at it while it's shut off, turn it on, so they can see the Windows 95 boot screen. Probably for the first time ever. And well, it depends on the age of the person you sit in front of it, right? So, because you'll get two reactions, right? You sit a younger person down, and they probably have no idea what it is. But if you take somebody that's over the age of 30 and set them down at it, chances are they're going to know exactly what it is, because they probably had one in their house as a kid, or growing up in high school. It just depends. The age range is all over for PCs and how you grew up with one in your house, but chances are there's definitely one of those in your house at one point. Man, I've screwed so many things today. I don't mean that like as an innuendo or a dirty way. Like legitimately, I've been turning a screwdriver for a good part of the day today. I'm not complaining. I like turning a screwdriver. So, one thing that I have noticed that I just ran into is this USB 3.0 header does not want to come out of here. So I'm gonna have to get all these connections off. Okay. And then I'm gonna pop the motherboard out here. And then we're gonna tilt this guy up just a little bit. Yeah. Because I'm gonna have to like physically pull this out of here. Wow. Goodness. This USB header, y'all. Woo! Jeez. It was holding on for dear life, everybody. Goodness, that is way too much thermal paste. Oh my goodness. You guys, it's like literally drowned it. I wish I was like exaggerating here a little bit. Hold on. I don't know if you can really see that or not. I can't really tell from looking at it. It's like there's so much on there. not inherently bad. It's not like a bad thing. It will definitely keep it cool, but it's important to make sure that none of this ever seeps down into the socket. You've probably seen the TikTok where the guy's like, "Oh, what'll happen if I put the stuff in the thing and it works?" It's fake, man. There ain't no way that works. And I ain't gonna try it neither, so don't ask. Because there's absolutely no way I'm looking at my boss and going, "Oh, you know that stuff you're supposed to do in there?" Yeah. Well, you know the old board? I thought it'd be really funny if we like tried this TikTok thing. I said, "Man, it ain't going. It ain't happening. He ain't going." All right. Trying to get better light on me, guys, but it is what it is. So that took so long. Just kidding. Oh, we have all the parts out already, all the ones that count except for this power supply. It's going to be the last part of this is getting this PSU out of here. And I just really am not sure at this moment how we're going to do it. I'm really, really, really hoping it's modular when I pop this open. Okay. Cable management, we get an A+ there though. I don't have any zippies on me, so it's going to be interesting in the new case. I might have some in my tool bag. If not, that's definitely something I'll have to clean up over the weekend, everybody. But I'll try to bring it back here, the other camera, and get some light on here. Cable management is like an A+. You hardly ever see good cable management anymore. We have zip ties. Everything is routed. It's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass to get out, but I would rather it be done correctly and have it be a pain in the butt to get out as opposed to the other way. So I'm going to look down here in the cradle. Of course, it's the power supply is like down there. So we have a semi-modular, which I will take it. That means we have extra connections upstairs if we need them. And we got another chat coming through. Zip ties in the garage. Awesome. I need this. All right. Just start trying to get some of this thermal paste off of this old processor here. Hey, there's a Ryzen. We can see the processor now. So if I had to guess, I know exactly what happened here because it almost looks like there's two different colors. So my guess is we applied thermal paste to the processor, and then there was some already pre-applied to that rad, and then the rad just got put on. So it was actually one of the things I was concerned about when I was grabbing my tools last night, is I thought about getting some nice Arctic MX5 to put on the new processor, but this 360 rad is going to come pre-applied. So, this stuff is dirty, which you can't see that anyways, but oh well. It's like some of these build videos, you just know, man, unless they're handing it off to somebody or if they're pausing for takes to go wash their hands, you just know it's not in real time. Okie dokies. Oh, we're gonna need our smaller screwdriver. Get out the old iFixit kit. Definitely not sponsored, but hey, iFixit, you know, you can holler at me whenever. This is definitely an older iFixit kit, but the great thing about their precision screwdrivers is it doesn't really matter if it's the old or the new. It's a screwdriver and it's good quality. So now, one thing I'm not sure whether we're going to have to do or not is take these posts off for the M.2 NVMe drives. Sometimes the new board will not have the post on there, so that'll be something to pay attention to, because we might have to come back and get these. They come off fairly easily. They just screw on, so it's not too bad. Okay, so now I'm seeing why Nick wanted to... Oh, I'm losing battery. I'll have to try and keep an eye on that. Sorry, I'm sniffling, you guys. I don't know what the deal is with that. Nose has been running all day today. Hold on. Whew. I tried to cover the mic. I hope I didn't just snot in your guys' ears. I tried to be as mindful as I could. Alright, well, we need our snippies. Now, gotta be very careful cutting some of this stuff, because obviously we don't want to accidentally cut any of the power wires. Okay, it looks like we have Molex powered fan connectors. Great. So, case manufacturers everywhere should take note. Please stop doing that. Everything is moved to SATA or directly powered off the board. It's like Molex is for Pentium 2. It's for old stuff, man. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing powered off of Molex anymore. Weird peripheral cards and just like really bizarre, obscure stuff. Some stuff still is, but I don't know. I don't know why you just wouldn't. It's not like the connector is saving you any money, unless there's just so many of them left over that I'm just trying to get rid of them. But it's like there's that. Then that means then there's a whole slew of power connections out there just open to air. You know, copper and stuff corrodes, so it's like obviously, probably, hopefully not in your computer. Hopefully it's not, you know, around moisture or what, being a computer and all, but you know. Okay. Oh goodness, this cage that this power supply is a little annoying. So it's got one of those basements, but it doesn't have a hole in it. So that's theoretically supposed to separate the air from the power supply and isolate it to the bottom of the case. I guess in practice it works depending on how the PSU itself is mounted. Since there's only one fan and a power supply, the way intakes and ejects air is kind of specific, so. Goodness, what are we stuck on now? Okay. I'm like legitimately missing how this works. Give me your power supply. That's all I want. Okay. There's like so much going on with this case. Does it slip under there? I'm legit confused right now. Okay. I definitely got it on. That is not making any sense though. I'm gonna check the bottom here. Yeah, I don't see anything on there. This is ridiculous to say the least. There's this whole cross member here in my way. But this basement is like made to slide up under, but that doesn't make any sense. There's like this connector here. It doesn't make any sense, man. Hold on. No, that ain't it either. Sometimes there's like a back panel or something that you have to remove to do this, but I'm not seeing that either. What the heck? Goodness. Okay, I see what's going on here. Okay, so there's this whole plate that has to come off. Goodness gracious. It's like I don't even need what's under there, but yeah. Okay, so well, there's all the cable management. It was just being hidden by that plate. And I'd still give it an A. I don't know if I'd give it an A+, but an A for sure. Okay. I really hope that's it. Okay. There we go. Why are there so many screws in this thing? Finally. Goodness. I had the whole computer out of here way before I had the power supply out. That's... I mean, you kind of expect to deal with a rat's nest of wires when you deal with one of these, but goodness, man, that is in there. How did they even get some of this stuff in here? Aha, let's do it. They come apart. Goodness. They're like fused together. They've been together for so long. Here. Okay. Start getting this stuff unhooked. Alright, this goes to that H60i. Where are you routed? There we go. Okay, nice Corsair fan. Definitely keep that around. You never know when you need some good cooling. Okay, so back here it's kind of more of the same. It does look like there's an LED controller with the case, though, so not sure if that's going to come to the new build or not. Nope, it's not, because the new 360 rad has its own probably, and then the new motherboard should also have an RGB header on the motherboard, so a lot of this stuff we will no longer need when it comes to the lighting. Anyways. Okay. And it has one of those inline controllers. You know, one of the biggest problems with these, see, is the big mess of wires that it adds to your machine. You have to find somewhere for these to go. Obviously, you can't just leave them, so it's challenging sometimes. Where if you get one of the box style ones, they can be a little more expensive, but sometimes you can have them down here in your hard drive caddy or something if you don't use spinning hard disks, which a lot of people do not anymore. So in a lot of cases still have that area for the 3.5-inch drives in case you happen to have any, or And if you need big storage, or you might have, some people will have spinning disks, but they're like big ones, like 4 or 8 terabyte, and they'll have them in a RAID or something to make them faster, or for data security. Just depends. Okay. So all of this is case stuff, and then this here, these 3 fans in front. We need to take this Molex off. Okay, so that controller is with the case and these fans, but still, it's a lot. So all this wire that I'm pulling out right here is all coming just from the case itself. That's like not even from the power supply. There's more. There's actually more. There's more back here for the top fans. So that's another unintended area of the upgrade is, the new board has its own RGB and stuff on there, so we'll be losing a good chunk of that wire, which is a good thing. I feel like Martha Stewart. It's a good thing. All right, here we are. I'm not thinking we're gonna need any more than this, but we'll see once I get the Z690 board out. I do believe it has 2 8-pin powers for the CPU. We can run it with one set, but I'm gonna go up there and see if I can find maybe this other cable at some point, but for testing and everything. So obviously during this build, I've already taken quite a bit of time, and the main thing is going to be getting it here on the table and getting it set up for the preliminary, because at that point, if it boots, then I know once I go through the labor of putting it in the case, it's going to boot. So that's one of the reasons for doing things this way, and you'll see plenty of videos of people building computers doing the same thing. That is one good practice that has come from the era of building computers and stuff on YouTube and whatnot, is that some of the practicality behind it does help. So people, I've noticed, starting to do that, which is good. So I don't want to spend a lot of time with this case because I already know we're going to be doing something with it here in the near future, and for right now I want to get to the new computer, so I'm done being inside this thing. Okay, so the most important parts of the build we've already taken out of the old machine. So, graphics card, obviously. We're using the KF variant of the 13900, so which the only thing that means in a practical sense when you see that F behind the K on an Intel CPU just means that it comes without the integrated graphics. Now, that can be a help or a hurt. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my other mic here real quick. You guys want to see it? Testing, 1, 2. There we go. Live mic change. We still good? It looks like audio is registering over there. Okay, so anyways, KFs don't have integrated graphics. That can matter to some people because the iGPU can help in some circumstances where you're editing video and stuff like that, because it has the quick sync video encoder built into the CPU. Obviously ones with the F variant aren't going to have that. But if you have a GPU that has a relatively new encoder, it's probably going to be good enough anyways. The Even this 1080 still has a decent enough NVENC encoder, but for what we're doing here for GIS post-processing, it's not as important. We're getting more benefit out of the memory and everything on this GPU than we would be out of it having that included integrated graphics controller. All right. These boards are very nice. So, this is the Asus Tough Gaming Z690. It is the DDR4 variant. But do not let the fact that it uses DDR4 fool you at all. This is a chonker. Just in comparison to the motherboard that we pulled out of the old unit, easily double the weight. The VRMs alone on here, the heatsink on this VRM is probably stout enough to cool a CPU. I mean, it's real thick aluminum. It goes all the way up into here, this big chunk. There's another chunk of aluminum here. Pretty stout board. This Tough Gaming series, I was really happy when I saw Nick come in with this, and there's a real big reason for that. So if you've watched any of my earlier videos on my channel, you'll know that I'm a 3D mobile mapping driver for where I work at as well. So I get to operate the 3D mapping car and get LiDAR shots and stuff. And in the mapping car, there's a PC with it's got an i9-13900K. Now that's obviously not this, but that one is being powered by the Z370 or 390, whichever one it was. Anyways, it's got a Tough Gaming motherboard in there, and putting a computer into a car, even if it's a newer car, is no fickle thing, because especially unless you're gonna suspend it from springs and completely isolate it, it's gonna get vibrated the snot out of. And that machine is no exception. All of the wear and tear on that machine is basically from it being strapped in and being down the road. Other than that, though, the Tough Gaming motherboard in there is held up great. Like, all the components in that machine, it's made me really pay attention to this Tough line. If I could, I would do an all Tough build. Tough GPU, Tough motherboard, Tough case. Asus makes quite a few things in the Tough line, so. Oh, sweet. It's got the toolless M.2, which is really, really cool. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Now, it has a little plastic doohickey behind it. I really wish I could get it on camera better. I really hope I get a better camera sometime this year, so I can really get these close-up shots so I can show you guys a lot better. So the old style is just a screw, right? But Asus started doing this thing in the server area where you just put in your M.2 drive, which is this guy. You just put them in there and push them down, and then you push a little flap over, and the flap goes over this to where it can't come up. So this has those, which is great because of the tough board out, and the mapping car ain't got it. And so if you didn't have the posts, you're pretty much not putting a hard drive in there until you get one. And sourcing those, not that easy, by the way, because whoever in their infinite wisdom decided, oh, well, they do it how? Okay, well, so we're not doing it that way because they do it that way. So what you'll notice from computer companies is they will try to segment literally anything that they can. And so they, like, Asus was the one of them too, which I was surprised. So their M.2 drives, the posts, actually take a shorter thread than some of the other boards do. So that means even if you have a spare M.2 post, you may not even be able to use it, which is like a crapshoot, right? That there would be different threadings for something that's like, really, it's a piece that is like literally, I can't even like show you on camera. It is so small. It's like, that's gonna get lost 100%. There's gotta be a better way. So I'm really glad to see that they've changed the way they do that on here. Now, the other half of that though is there's a lot of plasticky stuff on modern stuff, and that kind of sucks sometimes because I'm already seeing it. There's a peel here, there's a peel there, there's a peel there, there's a peel under here for the thermal pad for the heat sink. It's like everywhere I turn around there's something else to peel, and I really don't care for that. I know I did it in one of my videos, but it's like, just, I don't know. You get annoyed at a certain point after you've already, because you'll peel it, and the GPUs especially. This one's not as crazy with it being a 1080, but it still has some like angled bit here on the corner, and the way a lot of them will do it is they'll do a separate strip just for that part. It's just, please quit doing it. Okay, M.2 heatsink. Alrighty, that one is in there. That one is also in there. All right, there we go. Hard drives are done. That's way different than it has been in the past, man. Hard drives, like everything else, you have to snake wires through. You know, at one point you didn't have the option of having that little convenient bit that clicks on there. Now, we're putting in all 4 sticks here, so I typically, if you're only installing 2, there is actually a preferred, there are preferred slots, is what I'm trying to say. So, because some people will tell you that it doesn't matter what slots you put your RAM in, and that's complete malarkey. Usually, you would want to put them in slots 1 and 3, or you can even see the slots are different colors. 2 of them are gray, 2 of them are black. Sometimes the motherboard manual will tell you, sometimes it won't. But just know, if you're only putting in 2 sticks, you need to check your manual and make sure you are doing it correctly. All right, how much memory is that anyway? I didn't even look. 3200 CL14, not 50. So this is good RAM. I'm really happy with this. 64 gigs of DDR4. That is awesome. All right, we got the GPU. All that's left now is the processor and this radiator. I'm gonna have to get out of the box at least temporarily to hook this up. All right, that is a big radiator. Yep. I'm gonna try to bring you guys like really down in here a little bit. There we go. So here we are. We're really far down in here, which is good. Hopefully in the near future we'll have a little bit better of some angles, but we're kind of just figuring the waters out here, right? I mean, this is the first for me, doing one of these at work. I am super grateful for the opportunity. I am going to be so mad, you guys, if there is not thermal paste in here. It's usually pre-applied to these things, and obviously you can see nothing but copper there on the camera, so there is no thermal paste already pre-applied on here. So there it is. First thing I saw when I pulled it out the box. This little thing of syringes right here. So thank goodness. I was freaking there for a hot second. Because I didn't bring any from home, as I touched on earlier in the stream. That was one of my big debates, was whether or not to grab my Arctic MX5 from the house, but I ultimately decided against it. So, you know what, I'm actually going to have to pop this GPU back off here. Cool. It also has a quick release for the PCI Express graphics card. That's awesome. So you don't have to fiddle and get your finger in between there to take that off. So typically, if you're going to put in an all-in-one liquid cooler like what I'm doing here today, typically sometimes that needs to come off. But I do believe that is not necessary. But one of the things we're finding out right now is that does not work with this LGA 1700. So looks like we have some special gear. You can't see the text. The bag says LGA 1700, so that's specifically for us on the 13th gen. So there's some other special back plates in here. So if I had to guess, we're going to be using one of these special Intel ones. But if I'm going to be using a special anything, where's my instructions at, NSI? I mean, well, what gives? Okay. Okay. I'm not imagining things. I did not see a booklet in there at all. I really hate when companies do silly stuff like that. I guess I just gotta figure it out. Yeah, I don't even know which one of these is supposed to go on there. That looks about right. But that looks better. I'm going to have to find a manual online because this isn't making any sense to me at all right now. I'm trying to make sure I didn't accidentally pull it out or put it somewhere because I was messing with this stuff yesterday afternoon, but yeah, I don't think I took anything like that out. Got nothing over here. Okay. So that's making some sense to me now. This goes in here. Like so. Still though, it's the best way I can see to install these right now. And I just don't think that's it, you guys. Yeah, because it doesn't protrude far enough that direction to reach the bracket. So that means something else has to go up under there, but what? Well, I'm gonna have to cut the stream early because this, I mean, I'm missing parts or something. You can't screw it in with nothing. Here's a bracket, holes, no threads. Here's threads, no bolts. No instructions. Why wouldn't you put instructions? That's so retarded. I'm gonna save the planet extra 10 cents. Because that's probably what it is. If I look, it's probably like an online PDF or something, that's a crapshoot sometimes when you want to hold something in your hand and just do something. Yeah. Because I'm not seeing any clear way to assemble this. Yeah, none of these screw into anything. Because that's how these should work. Yeah. So that's not giving me any clear indicator. So I don't know. Because even if I do that like that, and we get this on there, that's protruding out too far. That's going to hit the case. That's what we're going to do, because I mean, those are the ones that say they're for 1700, so just having these threaded dangly bits in the back doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. It's definitely going to make it hard to do anything on top of this. Yeah, because I'm not seeing... How are you supposed to attach the plate? Because then this should go on top of it here like this. That doesn't seem right either. I don't know. I've lost. I can't get this CPU core on. I'm sorry for the most boring stream ever. I have some audio left here. I was going real strong when I had stuff to talk about. I wasn't anticipating having to actually sit here and go through any of this. Hold on, y'all. The heat's starting to get cold. It usually goes down to 60 degrees. Okay. What's this thing called? Magcore Liquid 360R. Man, there's a how-to video. See, now I should do that. But, you know, if I did every idea I saw.
12 hours of uninterrupted pain relief. Aleve.
Uh-huh.
Hey everyone, out here.
I don't care, dude. I just need to see how you put it together. This didn't come with
And you have 4 standoffs as well as 4 screws to screw the cooler onto the motherboard. The installation process is relatively simple. All you have to do is put the back plate back of the motherboard and then use these standoffs and screw them from
They're not even using the current.
On the CPU side of the motherboard, you just have to screw it in tightly. Once you have that in place, go ahead and take the plate and install it onto the liquid cooler. This really only goes in one way, and the opening should be where the tube are.
Uh-huh. This isn't making any sense either. To stabilize the backplate, flip the motherboard back to the front and install 4 standoff screws. Into what? You're supposed to just thread them into air, apparently. This is ridiculous. How is this supposed to get anything? There's no threads or anything. Those are just holes. See them? That don't make any gosh darn sense. Because, like, there's little screws in here, but then what do these screw into? And this is for the radiator, I can already tell. It's almost like they're expecting you to have screws. This, because it says install the LGA 1700 backplate. Yeah, it's showing this one, but we already know this isn't right. So I don't. Hey, wait. Wow, now I feel dumb. I was just putting it in there cockeyed, but normally they have a whole separate bracket for this, and it says Intel on it. Like, I know you guys can't see it on camera, but it's like stamped on here. It says Intel LGA 17. Now I'm just mad, you guys, because that's aggravating. How long did that take to figure out? Goodness. Goodness. There's like no clearance. Okay, there we go. We got it. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not in there all the way. All right. We gotta get the money shot here. Are we ready? I'm just kidding. I already took B-roll. I didn't forget this time to get B-roll shots. I'm actually doing good. All right. So, apologize for that 20-minute took way too long to figure out segment there. I don't even need to put the fans on it yet. I literally just need this to be able to attach to the CPU so we can turn it on without frying the darn thing. Because that would suck. That light is like right on it too. Can't get the text, but if you want to see a nice picture of it, you have to check our Facebook or check the TechYow website. There will be a blog post about this build. Probably have to give me a day or two because I want to be real thorough with pulling some of the photos out of the video, etc. Cool. Still good on battery over here. Looks like we're missing one bar over there, so we're still good. Alright, we'll go ahead and open our zero insertion force connector here. And there she blows. Socket LGA 1700. It's very pretty, you guys. So many pins. 1,700 pins, to be correct. It's one of those things that was really weirded out by when the Intel very first started doing this. The very first Core series. Up until that point, everybody, not just me, was used to having pins on the bottom. AMD finally now is switching over to using this style of CPU this year. And I used to, was like, oh, that, I don't like it. But the longer I thought about it, even though it sucks, sometimes it's better to replace your motherboard than a CPU. But now, in today's day and age, when you have $200 motherboards, it just depends. It's like, what's more expensive, your CPU or the motherboard it's sitting in, which in any normal machine, the answer to that question is absolutely the CPU, but some of these motherboards nowadays, I tell you, they're getting weird. Okie dokes. The most delicate part of any build. And the only way that comes out is that way. It pops off. There's no way to get it off there other than to just close the lid and let it pop out. But it's always nerve-wracking for me anyways, because I don't like when stuff just pops at me. I'm not sure if Eric is still watching, my coworker, but Nick came out to the garage and I jumped when he opened the door, and then I was talking to Nick and the door opened again and it was Eric and I jumped again. And I was like, I just don't know what it is. I'm jumpy, I guess. Alright, we can get our GPU back on here now. Okay. Now, I've not done a 1700 series CPU, but I have thermal pasted literally tons of processors in my life, so I have a method. The internet can tell me it's wrong, but for a CPU this size, I will typically try to do this X pattern if I don't have a spudger, and it didn't come with a spudgy, so this should be more than what is required really, but I want to make sure that we get good coverage. And I'm really not sure what kind of coolant they're even using. I mean, it's MSI, and this isn't a cheap liquid cooler by any stretch of the imagination, but just because something is from a brand, that doesn't mean that they're immune to cheaping out. They cheap out just as much as smaller companies or lesser known companies. Actually, the big guys probably do it more. It's kind of funny sometimes when people make those comments. They want to make sure it's coming from somewhere. I'm no different. You know, I've done it too, but I try to keep myself aware of that. Awesome. Here we are. Go ahead and find out where our CPU cooling header is. Ooh, I don't like that. There's some flashing around some of these ports. It's probably just heat and stuff from where it was silk screen. But still, not liking that. So, the pump is actually in the radiator. That's crazy. I'm just, a lot of liquid coolers copy the Asetek or whatever design that was. I can't remember who made it. I think it was Asetek. Where a lot of them have the iteration where the pump is actually built into the block. But this one, you can see this nifty square in the middle of the radiator. So about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And then the power connection for it comes all the way back up to the radiator. So it's interesting to say the least. I've never seen one like that. And we're going to go ahead and put a fan on here. Alright, we're going to do a push. I might grab 3 of those Corsair fans out of that case and do a push-pull and do 6 fans on the one radiator. Just because that's what's going to give us. It'll cool down faster than it can heat up, is my guess. But of course. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. Does it work? First try. We're going to find out. We're going to go ahead and steal this mouse and keyboard from over here. And then we will also need to grab up one of these DisplayPort cables. So, stay with me here for a second while I figure this all out. Yeah. All right, bam. PC upgrade. I need cable. Oh, that did not feel good. Oh, goodness. There we go. Gotta get a screen of some sort here. Okay. Now we need to get power to that somehow. I need to borrow this for just a hot second. Pooh. It's a 90-degree connector. And it's pointed the wrong direction. And that's not a 3-prong outlet. I did have an extension cord. Wonder where it went. Because I did have it behind the server tower. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to leave my old laptop unplugged for just a little bit here. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. It's the only thing that sucks about desktops, you guys, is power. We gotta have power from somewhere. Okay, we got power to that. Grabbing a spare cable here for this power supply. And then we have 2 connections we have to make. Connection 1 is main power. It's all the way over here. Okay, main power's on. Now we just need to find our CPU 4-pin, 8-pin. All right. My wife forgot I was doing this today. I know I told her. Okay. Do. Okay. Got this. We got that. We got display cable. Cool. Ooh, gotta get on the floor. Okie doke. We got power. Grab our display cable here. We got display port. So we'll get him hooked up here. Alright. Now, we just need to find out where on this motherboard the power connection is. Or the power button goes. There it is. Power LED. Power button. Alright, it's on. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Now, we'll probably have to post a few times. There's really no set rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes post can take longer. There we go. We got Mobo screen. New CPU installed. Yep. F1. Awesome. So we got our BIOS menu. Everything is good there. Man, it's really amazing to see what they can do even just with like a basic BIOS screen these days. I'm so used to even modern computers. I have this the new B-Link PC that I'm putting the video out here about shortly. It'll probably come before I get the video out or I'm cutting this up. But anyways, the BIOS in that still even is like the old blue screen with a gray box, and like with server machine upstairs got the same thing. A lot of BIOS screens are just that way, so it almost makes you wonder how they're even able to make it look like this. But everything is showing up here. So we do want to make sure things are configured correctly. And the one thing that is standing out to me right now, I know you guys can't see it, it's right here. It's reporting the speed of the RAM 2133, which is not correct. I mean, it's correct because that's the JDEC speed, but it is not correct because we should be running 3200 megahertz because that is what this RAM is spec'd for. So okay, rebar, that's cool. I didn't think rebar was like a thing. There we go. We got XMP enabled. That took us to 3200 megahertz. It did it automatically. So we're going to save and exit. Yep, we're just going to go ahead and overclock the RAM for starters. And now it should boot on its own two legs. And now this time it should try to go through and grab that Windows Boot Manager. And with any luck. Now, one thing I haven't put in the machine that it does need is the network card. This 10 gig card here. But There we go. 3200, 5.5 gigahertz. That's awesome, man. Jeez. So that means like all core, you're gonna get like 5.3, 5.5 on one. Dude, I know the KS can hit 6 if you push it, but that's just ridiculous, man. Yeah, the CPU cooler is connected. I know it is. So set it to ignore. Okay. CPU fan speed power limit. It's complaining because this doesn't have a 4-pin wire. I can switch them, obviously, which is what I'm probably going to do. Okay. Okay. I suppose I will give the 1080 some power. Now, another thing too to also note, not so much with this 1080 because we're not ever gaming on it or doing those sorts of things, but it's got two 8-pin power connectors and we're using the same cable. The trouble with that is you can really only theoretically pull 150 from it. So to get the full juice even out of this 1080, if we were going to put it into a gaming machine or anything like that, we would definitely want to make sure that we're running two separate 8-pin powers to it, especially with modern cards. Unless you have like a 3060 or some card that only has like 175 watt, because you're going to get 75 from the slot. So in the case of those lower power cards, that's completely fine. But this is a 1080, so if it was in a situation where it was gaming or doing something where I thought it was going to pull its theoretical maximum of whatever, I think it's 250, 300, I can't remember the 1080. So my brain is so full with specs of the current generation that I can't even remember some of the stuff. And this thing just came out in 2018, but graphics cards, there's always so many iterations. So we just lost our filming light. Oh, it just must be on a timer because I turned it right back on. All right. So we got graphics power now. We can go ahead and give this another shot here. I'm gonna reach down here and short out the motherboard. Okie dokie. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, set ignoring the BIOS to something. Okay, we got Windows load screen. Come on, you can do it. Come on, you know you want to. Something as I'm looking at this radiator though, with that box, that pump being there like that, is like that's killing a lot of the airflow in that spot. Because that's a pretty big chunk. So I imagine static pressure has got to be, I wonder how they're justifying that, just because there's so much rad there. I don't know. I'm like just looking at it. Hey, get a devices ready. If we can get through this without a BSOD, we are home free, hopefully. Come on. Come on. This is a gamble. This is why people don't like doing this, because when you're upgrading, there's no guarantee that it's going to work. You know what I mean? Like, you might just have to put it back together and find some way to back it up a little better, and then try it again. But so far so good. It went through and did a device setup. It is making us reboot. It might do that a few times. Hopefully not, but we shall see here. Come on. Just give me the Windows lock screen. That's all I want to see. Man, it's not inspiring confidence into me right now. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Let's cross our fingers. Everybody say a prayer. Man, it really looked like it was gonna go. What? We getting it? Yes! Let's go! That's an upgrade, you guys. I will keep the stream going for the boring stuff where we shove this all in a case. But truthfully, you're just going to have to watch the YouTube video for that, because I don't feel like letting you watch. No, just really, the stream's already went on for quite a while, and I kind of want to just kind of get through this. So there is a little bit more that I want to film in context to the video that I'm putting out about this unit. There's going to be a second part here, though, so stay tuned. This weekend we have another 13900. That one's going to be a full K build. So we have a 13900K, 64 gigs of DDR5, RTX 4090, and if that wasn't enough, it's a liquid cooled one too. So just stay tuned. We're going to be doing some awesome builds here on the channel. Really appreciate you guys sticking with me through all this. It probably only take me another hour or so to get this into a case. That's really not the hard part. The hard part is getting all the components put together, making sure that they work, having them come on like this, back into Windows. I'm stoked, man. This went as smoothly as I was suspecting it would. Obviously there during the boot process, I was a little nervous just because if it's going to fail, that's where it's going to fail, and I really didn't want to have to put all this stuff back in that case and do a backup of the Windows partition. So I'm super stoked that this is working. Eric, my co-worker who this workstation upgrade is for, is going to be super stoked. He said we've had issues with Ryzen off and on, crashing, just weird stuff. Anybody that has AMD, I'm sure, is familiar. I'm gonna go ahead and angle you guys back up here towards me with the GoPro. There we go. So, any hooser, say that for my wife. She likes to say that all the time. But yeah, so man, this went really well. So stay tuned on the channel. Stay tuned for the video. Probably sometime next week. We're definitely gonna be doing the live stream some point over the weekend. May try to do a little bit of a hype train. I'm really considering doing a giveaway here sometime in the near to short future. But we got to put out the video about the Mini B-Link SER5, the 6-core 12 thread little mini PC that I've been working with. So I'm considering making that the giveaway. Don't hold me to anything just yet, but I really want to try to drive some more people here. Not only so I can build more computers, but like I said with the upgrade, sometimes this is the part that you don't see. Putting together new machines is awesome, but upgrading them can be really fun as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Thank you for staying with me for these last few hours. I'm gonna get to work. You guys stay cool though.